and welcome to the Old Hombre podcast, also known as the Old Men podcast. It's me, Mencey Morera,
It's Andrew.
and Andrew. Yep.
Yeah.
So who are we? I'd say I'm middle-aged now, probably, just judging by.
How old are you now, Mencey? You just had a birthday
I'm
recently.
36. I'm 36.
36.
However, most of my family members have died around the 70-year mark, so you could almost say I'm middle-aged, because I think the middle-aged term is subjective. But yeah, very much feel like a young man in an old man's body.
Yeah, but hang on. You exercise regularly.
Yeah.
You don't really smoke.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, you smoke, but you smoke other people's cigarettes, and then you go and buy a job lot. Then you go and buy a job lot at once. So I have to say thank you for that.
Yeah.
And you don't eat crappy food. You still got all your hair.
Well, we'll see. Time will tell. But the point is this: I feel old. And why do I feel old? Because most of the stuff that people are interested in, it's usually like popular headlines, meme stocks, Bitcoin, all of this crap. Whereas I tend to be interested in quite a few of the boring things. So Andrew and I decided to put together a podcast, a space where we could discuss three things that we tend to like moan and discuss in our private lives. One is just general business affairs, because we both work in sales.
Yep.
To be specific, business to business software sales in cybersecurity. Yeah, not the sexiest thing, but we like it. And we study businesses in general because we sell to them. So we need to like be up to date with current affairs and business trends. So we thought we'd set up a space for that. The second thing that we like to discuss is work life, just general things around sales, corporate life, just things that are happening. Usually everyone's so positive about everything that's discussed in the workplace, and I think we have our own opinions. It's not always going to be negative, but it'll be transparent. And then the third theme, Andrew, is the after work, after business, right? What's next? Retirement. What's the meaning of life, if we can even get to the bottom of it, right?
That brings me on to a really good starting point. So I know nobody watched it because we didn't post it.
Yep.
But we had a great conversation around Wiz. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And for those that don't know Wiz, it's a cloud security company that's had phenomenal growth over the last few years. And basically, one of the biggest tech companies in the world, Google, made a bid for them. As you know, Mencey, I think it was around $23 billion.
Yeah.
For a company that's 4.5 years old, that's just like unheard of. Amazing. Yeah. Now, the reason I had an interest in it was because my beloved wife has been working there, and she got given shares as part of her package. So when we heard the Google thing, I was literally retired. I was shopping for yachts. Maybe even thinking of retiring in Thailand and letting her do what she wants, sort of thing. I had a whole sort of things planned. And then yesterday or this morning, we wake up to news that the sods at Wiz decided to turn the offer down.
Yeah.
I mean, $23 billion for 4 years' work. 4 years' work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I can't fathom that. I can't fathom $23 billion. And if you imagine, employees number 1 through to 10 to 20, the shares that they got, I mean, instant billionaires in some cases, not that I know the ins and outs, but yeah, I'm very, very upset. Very upset indeed.
Yeah, and you know what, I think just for everyone watching, we did a test run of the first episode last week. We didn't publish it because we just did a load of gaffes, honestly. Like, it was evident that we weren't ready to go live or to even start showcasing what we're doing, but we will actually revisit this one. Because last week we were convinced the acquisition was going to go through. We went through key stats around cloud. We went around, whether it was overpriced, whether it was an overpriced bid. I was confident that 23 billion was Google paying too much for this particular solution, and we will definitely give it its own episode. but it seems to be unraveling on a daily basis. And we're not the podcast. We're not necessarily the cloud security guys, but stay tuned. We will be talking about this one at length because it's personal. It's got a degree of personal to it. So
well, I mean, the reason I brought it up was, you know, one of the things is, what do you do? What is life like after sales?
Yeah.
You know, we've got not opposite ends, I suppose, but you know, although both of us have been in sales for a long time, I think it's fair to say the software or the cybersecurity side of it is pretty, you know, it's relatively new to us. I think we've been 10, 12 years, maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you know, there are different pressures depending on, you know, different sales environments and what's life about that. And you know, I wasn't banking on it, but there was a plan in my mind. If it happens, this is what we do. And you know, if it happens and it's a different type of purchase, this is what we do. But it's not happening, so we do nothing. You know.
Yeah, I think the key takeaway on this one, and on this very short take on this complex headline is, don't rely on all this IPO and the shares that are given to you. Like IPOs, independent public offerings, or being listed on the stock market, and you know, being part of an organization whilst it's a startup and having the luck and the good run to get there is, you know, it's already going to be a miracle if you get acquired whilst you're there, let alone go for that IPO. And here we have a classic rug pull where someone I know who's exposed to it was very close to you know, a decent amount of money due to an acquisition, and then the rug was pulled because of in my opinion, overconfident CEOs. But that's my opinion, not Andrew's.
No.
But
well, the thing is that, you know, when you look at a typical sales job, particularly in software sales or technology sales, let's say, and you can stop me if I'm wrong or confirm it. You get these internal recruiters, you know, contacting you. I saw you on LinkedIn, and we love your background, and you know, we're a pre-IPO company, and you know, we've got some exciting tech and award-winning, you know, et cetera, and you know, we're going to offer stock options as part of the package, etc. And they make it sound amazing. You know, you're going to be a part of the company. You're going to own part of the company. You're going to be invested in its growth, etc. On paper, yeah, absolutely. But it's like being a Premiership football player. How many 10-year-olds go out and play football, dreaming of one day to play for a Premier team club, and then, you know, end up doing nothing of the sort? And the real winners on these are, you know, if they do get acquired, are the founders, and quite rightly.
Yep.
And some of the people that were there at the very early stages.
Exactly.
We both experienced buyouts, didn't we?
We did exactly. We both had a buyout, but again, it's just complete luck and timing. So don't base your career decisions on the number of shares you're given. It's literally pie in the sky. You know, go for the company because you truly believe in a solution. You truly believe in that in whatever time frame you're going to be there, that you're going to achieve your personal goals. And obviously, an IPO is the icing on the cake. But I do know a lot of people making napkin calculations in their spare time of how much they're going to be worth, and they're still, you know, 5 or 6 years later, after they thought they were going to make that money, still waiting for that cash cow to come through, and it hasn't. And you know what, just something to bring it home, you know, I'm genuinely improvising on my research here because I didn't even expect you to bring it up as the first thing, Andrew, but it's all good. That's what this is all about. I decided to just quickly Google tech IPOs, you know, on a year-to-year basis, and this seems about right. I'm not sure if it's a credible resource. It's rose.com, but it sounds about right. From 2012 to 2023, there was 142 companies that IPO'd with a total market capitalization of 708 billion, right?
Ooh.
So we're talking ServiceNow, Shopify, Palo Alto, really? That doesn't sound right.
I don't know.
When,
Maybe
let's double check that.
Yeah.
When did Palo Alto Networks go public? Oh yeah. Pretty. I just done a spot check. 2012. Perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, look, it IPO'd at 2.8 billion. So I think this is going in date order, actually, to be fair, which makes sense. Twilio 2 billion, Etsy 1.8. Okay, so you can imagine, right? You got Wiz being offered 23 billion for an acquisition.
Unbelievable.
And look, I'm scrolling through this, and it's like most of the IPOs. Look, Snowflake. I remember that one was a crazy one, 33.2 billion. But but either way, it's not very far from the 23 billion they're being offered, and that was in the height of. I mean, that was in the height of the stock market. I don't know if you remember. That was like 2020, where literally people were selling bloody in their face. What's it? Non-fungible NFTs and
NFTs.
all sorts of bollocks was being sold in the market, right? And when did Snowflake? We were talking 40x multiples back then. When did Snowflake IPO? Let's check the date. Well, yeah, 2020, the height of bullshit money. That's what I call it. Literally, you'd go into every internal call if you were in a startup within the cybersecurity space or any form of SaaS platform, everyone was like multiplying their revenues by 40 and then saying that was their value, their annual revenues, right? It was ridiculous. Those multiples aren't going around nowadays, right? So I think 23 billion for a Snowflake. I think they should have ripped their arm off. I don't think many companies are IPOing this year. But yeah, somehow they thought that was undervalued. So there you go.
Yeah, well, we don't know the reason. The reason, I think I know it's a sort of off the cuff topic, and the reason I talked about it was that it's like one of our topics is what happens after sales, but I think it's also important to sort of maybe give some of our experiences when we're first going out to sales roles or whatever, and choosing, how do we choose the right company to work for? Let's say we're lucky enough to get a couple of offers or whatever. What basis do they choose them? Is having stocks and shares offers as part of the package really important, or is it something that it's all look, glittery stocks and shares, etc. Yeah, this is really great. So yeah, that's the reason I touched upon it, and it would be interesting, maybe if people sort of watch this and have the time to maybe send us a comment or send us some feedback on why they accepted certain roles. Is it the money? Is it the product? Is it a combination? Is it IPOs? Or is it culture? That's a little buzzword at the moment. So yeah, interesting. It doesn't have to be the topic of the day, but I thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, but we'll definitely go into a deeper analysis of that, because I think we've got some. We had some interesting takes on our test run last week, and the truth is we've got a lot to say. I think I've made my position transparent. I think 23 billion was worst case scenario, a decent price. Worst case scenario for Wiz would be that's overpriced, right? And best case scenario for Google, it was just about the right price, but I generally think they were overpaying for it. I can't seem to figure out how on earth they think they would IPO for a higher value than 23 billion in today's market. But hey, maybe they know something I don't. So
Yeah, these are clever people.
Yeah.
There's probably a reason behind it. We'll I'm sure we'll hear more on this as time goes by. It'll be interesting. It really would be interesting. Fantastic.
So on the theme, Andrew, of employment and why you take jobs or whatever, I wanted to show you a video. I think let's start off live. We'll go through some Instagram videos, right? When you're on a bug, you're having a flick through. Most people look at naked ladies and all this type of stuff. I look at this type of stuff. So you'll see, you're gonna get a good understanding of what I find interesting, right? So this is my little folder for old hombre podcast.
I've got a folder.
Right? Yeah, well, yeah, it's the inception of it, right? It's just stuff that I want to show you and get your reaction on. So let me know what you think about this. So this is a gentleman that's talking about fake job postings.
Oh.
Yeah. Brace yourself, right? So let's hear this guy out. He's got an interesting take. Oh, okay. So where's the sound on this? Oh my God. Here we go. Perfect.
Bosses are lying to burned out employees by posting fake jobs to give false hope that help is on the way. 40% of companies posted fake jobs within the last year, and 3 in 10 companies still have them up. But
so 40% of companies, sorry, what is it? Yeah, 40% of companies have posted fake jobs within the last year. And I think 30% of them, did he say, are still up, right? So even like they've got no intention of filling these jobs. And I personally, this one right here, I've seen a lot of this happening. You just see it on LinkedIn. So Andrew and I, we both have LinkedIn Sales Nav, which is basically a paid version of LinkedIn. And as for those that work in the corporate space, you'll know that LinkedIn is basically a digital CV, a social network, and it makes most of its money either through Sales Nav, which is all about empowering salespeople to find leads and potential clients, but also it has its recruitment software, right? So it's all about helping companies hire the right people, and they've got a job board, and you see, right? Obviously, even if you're satisfied with your job, etc., you'll still have like a historial of the type of jobs that you've looked at in the past, and it constantly flagged to you. And I see the same companies posting, I mean, I'm talking jobs in the same territories, sales jobs that have been up for like 6 months, or they get pulled down and pulled up again. And Andrew, I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought, so we used to have a manager, I'm not gonna name him, but he used to basically be a director of a sales team. And he once said to me, look, as a senior manager, you've always got to be recruiting for 2 reasons. You don't know if someone's going to leave your team, and you've got to have a roster of players to bring in to fill that gap, or if you're going to expand, or just generally you need to go out there and understand who's out there in the market, what type of talent is available. But you do need to have your own people, like a draft list of people that you can bring in. And I always understood that. I generally thought that was the only reason that they were doing it. But this guy, he's got an interesting take on it, which I think he's got from this I think it's called Fortune magazine or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Forbes.
No, I think it's I think it'll come up in a second, but I'm sure it's not Forbes. But anyway, it matters not. He's got an interesting take from this as to why they're doing it, and it had never really come to my mind before. I generally thought it just people either hunting for intelligence, maybe just interviewing just in case, or just hoarding CVs just to see whether in the future they might come in handy. But I didn't think there could be an ulterior motive. Andrew, before I actually play the rest of the video and get to his take on it, why else do you think companies post job profiles, and why they waste people's time in interviewing for a job that doesn't exist?
Well, I completely understand what you're saying there, and I think there is that pipeline thing. A manager needs a pipeline, just like salespeople need a pipeline. A manager needs a pipeline of potential candidates. Let's face it, a good sales rep has a good year, and then all of a sudden, they're being hunted, or they've got their confidence up and they're looking around, and these things happen, right? But I think a lot of it is to create this false sense of, look how great we're doing. We're hiring constantly, we're looking for people constantly. And there's a way of doing it, right? Yeah, the pipeline thing, there's nothing stopping you from reaching out one-to-one to somebody on LinkedIn saying, look, got nothing at the moment, but you look really interesting. Can we keep in touch, and can we have a chat should something come up? Great. But, from my own personal experience, I had a job offer come up on my feed, Minimum 3 years experience in application security. Tick. Right. Experience selling into emerging markets, Middle East, Africa, etc. Tick.
Right.
I could go on. It knows what, sold static analysis, dynamic analysis, blah, blah. It was tick, 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 tick. So I thought, well, you know what, I'll apply and see what happens. Within, no exaggeration, this was on a Sunday evening, within 30 seconds of hitting the apply button, I got a response from the recruiter saying, thank you very much, but, you don't meet the criteria that we're looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But can we keep your details on file should something arise?
CV hoarder.
So, yeah. And I just think it's the cruelest thing you can do. I mean,
I'm with you. Honestly, this stuff pisses me off. But you got off lightly there, Andrew, because there's recruiters with absolutely no interest in getting to know you. Right? They book your first call. They waste your time. They ask you intrusive questions about your salary, all of that type of stuff. And, again, I used to think they were just benchmarking their own positions to, to see whether their salaries are competitive, all of that good stuff, right? But there's a more sinister aspect to it that hadn't occurred to me. I was just curious, Andrew, whether you were going to, whether what he's about to say was just only new to me. Right, because after this, I was just like, oh my God, this is worse than I thought. So I'm going to press play and we'll get to the bottom of this.
70% of hiring managers believe posting fake jobs is morally acceptable. The reasons why hiring managers do this is plentiful. Some use it to signal to burned out employees that help is on the way, while
So I don't actually hear anything. I just hear noise. So I'm not sure if the viewers are hearing anything.
Okay.
Maybe you can repeat what he said.
Well, so what he's saying there, right, is that a big reason why employers are also doing this is because they're giving a false sense to existing employees that help is on the way.
Yeah.
So that never ever occurred to me, right?
Yeah.
So how fraudulent is that?
Yeah.
Especially with us, Andrew, we work in this startup space, and sometimes I love the startup industry, right? There's so many pros to it. It kind of like what Andrew was saying earlier on about Wiz. If you're the first few employees and it ends up growing to a big organization, it's completely life-changing, right? It's incredible. And also you get to be part of this journey of building a company and truly seeing the power of your own work flourish into a multinational organization. Honestly, it's brilliant when it works. But a big part of the job offers that you get for a lot of these companies, I've participated in a lot of not a lot, but quite a few of the interviews for startups. They'll say to you, you're the first on the ground. You're going to help build a team from scratch. But because you're the first on the ground, we will be expanding aggressively. And then you're going to end up being the leader of this wonderous team.
Yep,
and
heard that many a time.
So imagine being duped, right? And this is what they're doing. When they haven't got the budgets, they've got no intentions of expanding the team. They're wasting your time, man. They're wasting your time. And, usually you take on so much more responsibility than your pay package offers, because you're trading that off for the potential pipe dream of shares going public, right? But you're also trading that off because you think it's going to grow. And then your responsibility is going to be focused. So you might join as a salesperson, and you're doing marketing, you're doing sales operations. You're doing, to some degree, even product marketing as well. You're shaping all sorts of stuff for the business, as well as acquiring new customers or trying to acquire new customers. And you're doing
channel. You're building up the channel network.
Yeah, all of that, right? I mean, we're talking.
You're recommending events that you need to go to and stuff. Been there, done it. The only thing that I have to say that's positive from my experience was that the startup in question, was very honest from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah. We won't be recruiting for at least 12 to 18 months. You will be doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, we're not slagging off, you know, again, just as a disclaimer, we're not out here to slag off previous employers. It's not the case. But I'm saying, right, that imagine you're taking on this role and they haven't been honest. They haven't been honest, and they've told you this dream, and then they're on these antics, and that's what 40% of these companies are doing.
Yeah, absolutely right.
It's wild. It's absolutely wild that this is even legal to some degree, and obviously it is, because it's hard to quantify when someone's not doing it with real intent. But it just never occurred to me that it was also for this full sense of security.
Well, let's look at this scenario. Okay, let's look at this scenario. You know, company A is going through some rough times, right? And they've decided that, you know, they're going to trim the workforce, and then all of a sudden Julie, who was doing one job, has been asked to do another job temporarily. You know, pat on the back, big, you know, cheers for Julie, she's doing a great job, etc. Don't worry, Julie, we got this advert, we're going to find somebody to help you out, and it never happens. So all of a sudden Julie's workload is doubled, her salary hasn't increased, her responsibilities have increased, but she's saying, oh, you know what, someone's coming along the line, and I'll be managing them. That's the other thing that they say. You know, you'll be managing them, they'll be under your wing. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrendous.
It is horrible. All right. So, do you know what? Let me see if I can change the sound here a little bit. I'm going to test this out. Hopefully it doesn't screw the recording up.
Is there a video you're sharing? Because all I see is you, and I hear some...
No, it's fine. Don't worry about that. I'm definitely sharing. Well, actually, let me just fix that quickly. Viewers, stay with us. Apologies.
One day you guys will log in and we'll have a proper studio.
The whole studio, yeah.
The whole lot.
Because our audience will grow so much. No one's going to listen to this. But anyway, if whoever is listening to this, fantastic. So we can afford to fuck up. Okay, so I'm going to press play and hopefully you'll start hearing something.
Others do it to test the market, benchmark salaries and benefits among competitors, and make it appear as if they're staying on top of DEI initiatives. But what's most alarming is that some employees use this as a scare tactic to signal current employees that they can be replaced at any time.
So, the other thing is they're using it as scare tactics that people can be replaced at any time.
Wow. Imagine working for a company like that.
Well, 40% of companies are fucking doing it. So sorry for my swearing, right?
40%.
Well, let me rewind. Sorry, I wish I had my Craig David soundbite. We'll rewind it one more time. But that's exactly what they're saying. It's Fortune magazine. I will post the link below for those of you that want to read it. If you haven't been able to hear the sound, I'm hoping it's just Andrew's crap headphones and not you guys.
One part of business practice has always relied on misinformation to attempt to keep employees feeling afraid and...
Misinformation to keep employees feeling afraid, Andrew. Riddle me that one. So we've got full sense of security that help is coming.
Yep.
Obviously the CV hoarding stuff, which we already knew.
Yep.
And also to keep employees on their toes. Imagine in a market like this, right, where there's been so many tech layoffs, where there's been, organizations are just constricting their workforce. And it is odd because they're firing people in like they're getting rid of 12, 15, 20% of their workforce. But then the next bloody day, they're posting a job up for the same territory. So so it must fit into one of these categories. Andrew, come on. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, right?
No.
But yeah, foul play, man. Look, shout out to all the recruiters out there, right? We know that there's good recruiters. In the same way, we get slagged off all the time, Andrew, right? So we can't play holier than thou. I don't mean you and I mean salespeople as a whole.
We now come under the same category as solicitors and estate agents.
No disclaimer. I've got no beef with solicitors as an estate agent.
But you know how people go, oh, it's bloody solicitors or bloody estate. They now say the same thing about software salespeople. They think we're all in blue suits driving Porsches.
Well, evidently not. But anyway, yeah. But no, foul play, man. Foul play. Like this one. Do you know what gets me, Andrew? It's when they run you through a whole interview process with absolutely no intention of employing you. And then at the end, I mean, you know very well. I went for a job a few years back. 8 interviews. They didn't even have the courtesy to call me back. I mean, they had me doing presentations.
Yeah.
They had me doing all sorts of stuff, right, in multi languages because I speak Spanish as well, and literally not even a rejection email. They just went off. You know, they told me that the last interview was a formality that had already been picked, and they ended up going with someone that was an internal candidate. If I don't remember, if I don't recall wrong, they had no intention of employing me, and they still went through that strenuous process. And I know that there's a legal requirement to like open it up to the public and show evidence that you're not given, but not bloody 9 interview or 8 interviews, Andrew. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
It's just it's heartless in terms of, and you know the one that really gets me out of all of this. Imagine if you're unemployed, Andrew. Your self-esteem is already low because you've been laid off for whatever reason. There is a job market crisis, at least in the technology sector. I'm seeing green rings on people's LinkedIn profiles all the time. By the way, for those of you that don't use LinkedIn, there's basically a green, you know, like on Facebook when, I don't know, the Ukraine movement came and then everyone put a nice ring around their profile with the Ukraine flag, and then it was the LGBTQ, and you would have like the multicolors and then Black Lives Matters, a filter of some sort. There's a filter on LinkedIn you can put on your profile, and it's green and it says open to work. The wave of those that we see on a daily basis, right? And you know, Andrew, you've seen it. They start off, you got to do a bit of marketing. Oh, you know, this presents a wonderful opportunity after 8 long years working for the organization. You know, it's now time to say goodbye. You know, it was both of our decisions to let go, you know, whatever it is. But, you know, I'm open to opportunities and this presents a fantastic. And then 6, 7 months down the line, they're like, guys, I'm not going to lie. I've been in the market for 7 months now and I'm struggling. Imagine you're partaking in this crap, Andrew, and you generally think you're getting rejected. So you're using all of this as a feedback loop on your worth. And it just turns out it's a load of fucking puppy. Sorry, it's a load of it's crazy.
That's the see. I you know, touch wood. I've been lucky in the respect that I've never experienced that. You know, where I have been approached by these things, and you know, there are actually, while you were talking, I was looking. There are ways you can actually. They call them ghost positions. There's advice out there to identify ghost roles.
Okay.
But the thing that I've been lucky enough, whenever I've had the CV holders or the people trying to benchmark or whatever, I've been employed, and you know, my response has been, well, you've contacted me, mate. You've contacted me, yeah.
And so there's nothing sweeter than when you have a job. When you have a job and you can basically tell them to do one, it's wonderful. Obviously, you don't do it to the good ones, right? Because to be honest, you're also setting up your pipe of good recruiters, people that you can respect. Yeah. But please, actually, and that's a great tip, audience, right? Don't look for recruiters when you are jobless. Yeah. Keep your eye out for them when you have a job. Yeah. Those that are respectable and are really good and personalized and care about you are far few in between. We're a number to a lot of people, right? And the same thing with sales. Like, yeah, I know some really good salespeople that truly care about the businesses that they serve, and they balance those good ethics with achieving a number, right? Yeah. But there are, and unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are just purely motivated by just hitting their number, and they don't really care about the success story afterwards, right? Same thing in every industry, right? Integrity and motivations vary. And when you get a recruiter that truly cares about your experience and just wants to work with you at a personal level, regardless of whether they have a role, and they check in and they understand your experience and they're almost able to pitch your experience to you as well, you got to collect those, because it's only a matter of time before value comes. But it's also internal recruiters as well, right? They're the same. They're no different from external recruiters. I don't want anyone to misinterpret that for some odd reason internal recruiters are more ethical. It used to be a thing where you used to say, if an internal recruiter hits me up it's more credible. Now, this is proof. It's not the case.
Well, this is evidence. This is evidence.
It's not the case. I've seen it, Andrew, where companies have called me directly or I've applied for jobs. They don't even bother, Andrew. There's absolutely no, like, the recruiter is almost just, you might as well be speaking to ChatGPT. Like, just, you know, no, I think I'd give ChatGPT more credit in understanding who I am. But yeah, the industry's changing.
That's a great tip, actually. And, you know, and we don't want to touch people out to suck eggs or anything like that. But, you know, LinkedIn is your digital CV. You know, and there are a lot of people that, you know, use it as their marketing board, etc. And some are, you know, pretty shocking. We'll get on to that.
We've got plenty of time to slag people off for their practices on LinkedIn.
But honestly, you know, it's a great place to make connections, to build pipeline for yourself and build your brand. And there are some great recruiters out there that you've either worked with or you haven't worked with on one occasion. And you know, they will follow you and they will track you if they were interested in you. And every now and then I get a call, Andrew, I know you work at the moment, but you know, got this, or do you know anyone at the very least? You know, so yeah, that's a great tip. Just, you know, connect with these guys, connect with these people, internal, external, whatever it is, and build your brand.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to move on to the next subject, right? We're talking about digital CVs. It seems to be rolling quite smoothly, guys.
Yeah.
All right, so this one right here. This one's going to be short because we got to take a break from the serious stuff, right?
Yeah.
Andrew, Instagram video number 2, right? Oh Lord, this one right here. This one had me chuckling on the bog, right? We won't just stick to. We do have a main event. We will talk about like some serious things, and it's not just going to be an Instagram podcast, like. But you know, let's start off light, right? Imagine, okay. Let me just set this one up. There was me thinking. There was a time when, you know, it's taken me a while to not be ashamed of this anymore, right? But my degree pick was psychology, right?
Okay.
And Andrew, it has taken me a long time to embrace that decision to study that at university. Why? Because I just did it because I thought it was a bit of fun, to be fair. There was no business logic whatsoever as to why I did it. I was just naturally interested in psychology. I had no understanding of what the psychology industry was like, what job prospects were after that. I just thought it's a subject I'm good at. I really like it. Gonna go for it. And so bad, Andrew, I didn't even know what UCAS was. And I just copied my mate's university selections. I knew nothing about university, right? Just wanted to go to university, and I felt like a mug. Where, I mean, one day we'll get into my story of how, you know, how I ended up in software sales. But I think most software sales origin stories start in that way. It's got nothing to do with studying engineering or whatever, like, or sales in school. But it took me a while to really figure out how to use that degree, and it came in useful, right? It's really, really good, whatever. But I really beat myself up about it until I watched something. Well, not until this. I watched this, and it just made me feel so much smarter than, you know what I'm trying. I start to give myself credit. Imagine if these were your university degree picks, right? Okay. Are you going to be able to hear it?
I'm not sure.
Man,
I can see it.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Nikki. I'm studying Latin American women and visual culture.
Latin American women in visual culture. No, it gets better. That was actually... Sorry, guys. Forgive me, right? Let's go on to the next one. This one's gone viral, Andrew. Honestly, you gotta love the internet, yeah? Next.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you a story.
Hi, wait. Just... Sorry. She looks like... Anyway, sorry, I'm not gonna go personal. Okay, let's just wait for the title of the thing, and then you can tell your story, yeah?
Body and creative spaces.
I'm studying body and creative spaces and erasure and exposure to queer. And then she goes, yeah.
Erasure and exposure to queer. Yeah.
All right. Oh, wait, go on, Andrew, tell your story.
So, many, many years ago, when I was a young lad, we were going to an exhibition in Germany.
Yeah.
Right. And we decided, well, my boss decided we were going to drive there.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, there's two cars. He started off in his car, and I've got a Ford Fiesta, so you know I'm way behind.
Right.
Stop for petrol. There's me and my friend. We both work together. Stop for petrol in Germany, just outside Hanover. Anyway, get our petrol, just about to drive off, and this woman, who looked pretty much like the previous video, turns up, right? She'd looked like she'd found some roadkill and made a dress out of it, right? Anyway, she comes up to us and says, where are you going? Blah, blah, blah. And we're going to Hamburg. Oh, can I have a lift? Of course you can, right? You're a brave young lady, 2 blokes, and you're on your own now. Anyway, sits in the back of the car, we're making some chit-chat. So the question comes on to, what do you do? Right? So we explain what we do and why we're going to Hamburg. And what is it you do? Can't remember her name. And she goes, I'm still studying. And she was like, in her 30s, at least.
Fair
right?
enough. Never too old to learn, right?
Yeah. So I said, oh, fantastic. What are you studying? I'm studying rhythmy. It's like, we look at each other and think, what the heck is rhythmy? And apparently it's a degree you can get, right, to put poetry to music.
Wow.
Right? And she's having a degree in
So
this.
basically a degree in rap, for those of you. Go on.
My friend's like, hang on, I'm confused. Degree, rhythmy to music. And she's like, yes. So he goes, like, Jack and Jill went up the hill to make sure the water. She did not find it amusing and wanted to get off at the next petrol station.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. Well, but there's a brilliant saying. I think it's Charlie Munger used to say it a lot in his Berkshire Hathaway meet. Well, in the Berkshire Hathaway meetings, he used to say, "A fool and his money are easily parted." And this is just a classic case. But honestly, let's get through these ones. Cause look at this one, looking like a blonde Neo from the Matrix.
Yeah.
All
From
right,
the
let's
Matrix,
do this.
yeah.
Hey, I'm Nina, and I studied the arts, education, and social justice.
The arts,
social justice,
and social justice. Yeah, I mean that one's, I don't know.
That's all right. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
Colonial intimacies.
I studied decolonial intimacies, indigenous politics, and resistance. Yeah. Oh my lord.
Indigenous politics and resistance.
Criminal.
And I studied remembering or forgetting, navigating
But the
international.
thing is, these are in the US, right?
Yeah. These are like these. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. NYU Gallatin class of 20. Andrea, maybe if on your side you can Google that out.
Class. I'd love to have been in that class.
Mate, I can't even say half of the things that are coming to my mind, unfortunately, because I wouldn't have a job anymore. But yeah, I think we're all thinking it, right? So navigating international conflict or collective memory.
Collective memory.
Yeah. Oh, this one right here. Jesus. Hi, I'm Iman, and I study the theory of monstrosity, the subaltern praxis, or should I say?
And I studied monstrosity, the subaltern praxis. Or should I say I created it?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nunyala. I'm studying living art.
Should I say I created it?
Yeah, I'm
I'm
studying
studying
living.
living artfully, art as ritual, therapy, and pathway to decoloniality. Well, the thing is all of these must have got some kind of bursary or something or other, because there's
No, mate, they're paying. No. They're paying real money.
They're paying.
No, they're paying real money.
Wow.
They're paying real money for this, and we're talking serious cash, like 50 grand, 60 grand. Like education is not a joke in the US. But all right, so Andrew, like I was saying before, by the way, guys, we had some technical issues, hence cut into this scene. This education stuff is not a joke. Like, you think it's bursaries. Nah, they're paying full price for this crap.
Well, the thing is, I've gone old school, by the way. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool. So the thing is that it devalues it. It devalues all of it. Yeah, I mean, when when people used to ask me, what's the point of a degree in certain things, right? Then not getting the job that you studied, right? Prime example, you're not a psychologist, are you?
No.
Right. Right. But the thing is what's supposed to show is that you can make a commitment over a certain amount of years. You've got the discipline to do the studies and all of that without somebody sitting over you like they do at school, et cetera, et cetera. However, this has just gone too far.
Yeah.
This is just gone far
it's
too
madness.
far.
Yeah, it's completely just, yeah. But imagine putting this on your digital CV. But anyway, I just thought it was a bit
Imagine the parents.
Oh, God, yeah. But anyway.
Working 3 jobs and what have you.
It's madness. It's madness. Yeah. I mean, if my daughter came to me with this crap, I'm qualifying out, as in literally, you're on your one, I mean, I don't want to clip her wings, but honestly, studying fashion history and gender studies, I mean, really, how far are we going to get with that? I don't know. Maybe in a world where AI does everything that's important and we're just paying, maybe, you know what? I might end up living to eat these words, which is brilliant. I want these people to be successful because they are the future of our...
Well, my daughter, whom you know, the youngest one, wanted to study film and photography.
Yeah.
And I told her, there's no frigging way you're studying film and photography. Not a joke. And you know what? There was a survey I read the other day.
Yeah.
It's out of the top 5 worst degrees.
Yeah.
It's number 1.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we didn't need a whole bloody meta-analysis of the economy to figure that one out. But anyway, Andrew. This is. I think I'm going to leave some for another day, but this is going to be the last one. No, this one's going to be the last Instagram one. Okay. I don't know how we're going to relate this to the theme of the podcast, but I found it bloody hilarious. More the comments actually than the actual video, right?
Okay.
But it's still about work life to some degree. It's not corporate work life, but it's the work life, right? It's our friend Gordon Ramsay. All right.
Lovely.
Let's have a look at this, right?
Met yet, have we?
Say again, sir?
We haven't met yet, have we?
No, sir. I'm David.
David, what do you do?
Yes, sir. I'm a pantry.
Pantry.
Yes, sir.
Tell us. Are you trained, David?
Well, it's trained a little bit, sir. I've been around, sir.
And where's your love of food coming from? Where do you?
My father.
Your father. Dad's a chef?
No, sir. My dad was a nurse, but he loved to eat.
Wow.
So yeah, this is obviously like Kitchen Nightmares or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And this guy's, I don't want to say typical American, but that's the great thing about Americans, right?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, when they get into a role, it's like, yes, sir. Oh my God, this is great. Yeah. Like very, very positive guy. Yeah. But
everything's amazing.
Everything's amazing, right? Really good attitude to work. It's this guy why, the S&P 500 in America is great because literally it's built on this type of attitude. But anyway, we'll get to the punchline soon, right?
Walking in another calamari with the rim you like.
I have the second calamari selling right now, ma'am.
Hey.
Just 2 seconds.
Yes, sir.
It's already bread is.
Oh, yes, sir.
Fried.
I'm gonna fry it right now, sir.
That's already cooked.
Yes, sir.
So when was it cooked?
Oh, actually, we get it in a box, sir. We get it from a fish company, sir. Completely frozen.
Just touch that.
Oh, yes, sir. It feels like rubber. I don't eat the fish here, sir.
How come you know this and you're still doing it?
My opinion doesn't matter in this restaurant.
If you know it's bad.
My opinion does not matter in this restaurant. Wait, hold on. hold on. No. But this is the punchline. Because you know it's bad, yeah? Wait, go on.
And yet you just, against your will, do it.
And against your will, you do it. Yeah. And he goes...
Life.
No, but this is it, Andrew. This is it. It's the comment section that really brought it to life for me, yeah? So he goes, dude's got problems and definitely shouldn't be making food, which I thought was just stupid, right? Like, screw this like idiot. 803 likes, 803 idiots, yeah? My opinion doesn't matter in this restaurant.
229,000.
Yeah. No, but this is it. It's called a job, Gordon. Oh, I'm dead, mate. Honestly, you could imagine me on the bog. That was an easy... I was able to deploy that log easily after reading that one, right? I mean, he's perplexed. He's asking... I can't remember what the position of the guy was, right?
He was a pantry. He was known as the pantry.
Yeah, basically, he's there to just grab stuff, make it happen, and put it over that counter. And Gordon has the bloody audacity to be like, well, why do you do it? Yeah, because it's a job, Gordon. It's a job. Like, how disconnected must you be from reality? Like Gordon must think that people just walk around just doing jobs because that's what they like. Like,
you can just imagine him and one of his employees going, actually, no, I'm not serving there. He'll be like, what?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's bad, but you still do it. Yes, Gordon, that's how a job takes. It's beautiful. You know, wait. Hold on, let me see.
Do not respect me, guy. He has his own food truck, and Gordon loved him and offered him a job and stole it.
In fairness, look. Anyway, I just found it hilarious, right? Like, imagine just where your mind is at, where you're speaking to a guy that obviously has no power in the restaurant. It's just doing his bloody job, and
He's a commie. He's a commie chef.
Come on,
he gets paid minimum wage.
Come on, man. But yeah, very, very funny. Very funny. But yeah, that's my Instagram segment.
Okay,
Done,
fantastic.
done,
I think that should be regular, that one.
Yeah, we will. We'll have plenty of that coming if the audience likes it. But yeah, our one watcher, whoever that may
I've
be.
got to get some training on this because I keep trying to save videos and then I look at them later.
Don't worry, mate. I'll bring you up to date. I only figured out how to do it like a month ago.
At the moment, I'm trying to learn how to airwalk.
Airwalk? The that move. Yeah. No, mate. You're better than me. Honestly, I didn't even give that a pop. But you know what? I see a lot of Chinese people and Japanese people do it really good. And on that theme, Andrew, let's talk about the Chinese and how they're getting blamed for everything in the luxury market. Right.
Well, they've ruined Burberry, obviously.
Well, they've ruined everything. Right. So let's have a look at this. Right. So, all right. So, the Chinese. Why are the Chinese not under scrutiny, but why are they, coming up in a lot of articles nowadays? Well, we have a wave of luxury brands. We're talking Burberry, LVMH, Swatch Group, Hugo Boss. Their last quarterly earnings were abysmal, right? We're talking. So just to give you an idea, this is an article from The Economist, and they're saying that. On July the 15th, the 168-year-old British maker of checkered trench coats reported that sales slumped by 21% in the second quarter. 21% from the previous year. They bought in, Daniel Lee, this head designer that was meant to make it British again, and the truth is, it didn't work. And they're blaming this on the Chinese. They're saying it's basically the company's the biggest market is in China, and apparently China sales also fell by 21% year on year amid the Communist Party's crackdown on opulence. I didn't know what opulence meant until today, but it's got something to do with like being flashy and all and all of that type of stuff. So that was Burberry, and then LVMH today. So they had their quarterly earnings declaration today, I believe it was. Let's have a look at this bad boy. LVMH, largest luxury group. So they own, Louis Vuitton, Moet. God knows how many brands they own, right? A lot of brands. It's
Hermes.
Yeah.
I think they own Hermes as well.
Yeah. Well, actually, in fact, let me just double check this quickly. LVMH subsidiaries.
Brands.
Subsidiaries. I'm sure I spelled that wrong. Dior, Hennessy, Tiffany, Sephora, Celine, Lowe, Tarantino, Givenchy, Marc. I mean, bloody hell, pretty much 50% of all the brands that you could possibly name in Selfridges or whatever it is, or in places that I haven't been to shop in since.
Well, that explains a lot. Why Louis Vuitton bags look bloody identical to Fendi bags, and instead of LV, you've got an F on the bloody logo.
Well, yeah, there you
but
go.
Anyway,
there you go. But anyway, sales were down in the second quarter, so they only did 20.98 billion euros. compared to the 21.6. So they're about half a billy light, and they said that sales fell 14% in the second quarter compared to last year, right? So they're meant to be growing. So Andrew, the thing is, these companies, it's not just about sustaining their market share. It's about showing market growth. If the stock doesn't grow in value, well, people start selling it, right? And then that has its implications, because people typically buy shares because they want their investments to grow. So, sorry, Andrew.
Well, do you know what? It's funny because you've obviously got the stocks and shares and the revenue that the company makes, but then there's also a alternative economy on the back of this, which is the used or the loved brand market, and people are actually investing in these brands in bags like Louis Vuitton bags or whoever bags. As a way of investment. So it's also having a knock-on effect on that as well. If you look at Etsy and some of these online shops, people have got little shops there selling pre-loved brands for thousands and thousands of pounds. It must affect that as well.
Yeah. But I mean, they're blaming it mainly on the Chinese. They're saying the Chinese aren't spending like they used to, and the only reason why I wanted to bring this to the attention is because I just thought, wow, talk about almost every single brand that's luxury over relying on Chinese markets. It's been basically propped up on the Chinese market, and I just think, sorry,
I don't know if the word is it oxymoron. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's funny that it's their biggest market, yet it's also their biggest competitor, where 90% of the fake brands that they're battling against come out of. So it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you're selling these goods to this, it's your biggest market, but also you've got these industries all over China exporting the fake version of your very own goods.
So the reason why I wanted to bring this one to your attention, Andrew, is because something dawned upon me. So you know me, I'm interested in stocks and shares and all this type of stuff, and I like to learn little nuggets of information when it comes to these type of industries. Essentially, when you buy LVMH stock, or you buy what's the company that owns Gucci, Andrew?
Gucci?
Yeah. There's another Herring. Owners of Gucci. They're also a bit like LVMH. Kering.
Oh right, I didn't know that.
So
I did not know that. I thought
Kering.
Yeah.
So you got LVMH, Kering subsidiaries. Yeah, you got LVMH that own like half of the brands, and then you got Kering that own the other half. Gucci, Balenciaga.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say this. Yves Saint Laurent.
Yves Saint Laurent.
Whatever the hell that is.
If you were my age, you'd know exactly what.
Well, this is it. Alexander McQueen, Bottega Veneta, but you get the point. Creed.
Yeah.
Basically, they own all of these brands, right? So you've got it's propped up by Louis Vuitton, and LVMH, Louis Vuitton, Moet, Hennessy, and they own all those like 30, 40 luxury brands, and then you've got Kering on the other side. And essentially, and then you got, some of the other stocks like Burberry, etc., etc. And when you invest in these stocks, you think, I'm investing in fashion, right?
Yeah.
I'm investing in brands. I'm investing in those brands continuing to be current in society, etc., etc. And all of these articles pointing towards the fact that the Chinese are not buying have made me realize one undercover reason why what you're really actually invested in. If you're investing in luxury item stock companies or whatever, right? You're basically investing in China. You're basically declaring that you believe that the Chinese economy is going to get better, because evidently the market growth and just a big chunk of the customer base of these luxury brands are propped up on the rich in China. Yeah. And the minute that the Chinese economy starts doing really bad, these investments do bad. So they're heavily pegged on the Chinese. And I'll tell you what, Andrew, you know, I've got the Burberry factory not so far from me. We used to get, over decades, we used to get busloads of Chinese tourists, specifically coming to East London, an area where no tourist would dream of coming in the past, only to buy Burberry, kind of second grade, third grade goods and all that type of stuff. And at the outlet. And they literally built a street of luxury stores in Hackney based on the fact that that type of tourism was coming to Hackney. They all failed except Burberry. So Burberry obviously has the hearts and minds of organizations, of these type of organizations. But basically, if you're investing in these companies, you're investing in China. It's very simple, because it's a bit like when everyone started investing in Bitcoin, right? The whole point of Bitcoin was it was meant to be the opposite of cash. It's like if cash went to shit, you always had Bitcoin. And then something really mysterious happened in like 2020, where I think, was it 2020? Whenever a crash happened of sorts, I can't remember the exact date, but the value of the pound, the value of the dollar went down. And it was meant to be that the value of Bitcoin went up, because you know when people don't trust cash or stocks, they trust gold. So Bitcoin was meant to replace gold, but it didn't behave like gold. It didn't behave like gold at all. It behaved just like cash. It went down too. So that kind of pulled the rug on it, and it's said, well, no, Bitcoin isn't pegged as the anti-cash. You know, it's not the hedge against the economy. It works with the economy, right? Whereas gold seems to always do the opposite of what normal markets do. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, you're meant to buy gold because if stocks perform badly and if cash performs badly, gold always goes up in value. It's always kind of behaved in that way, right? And with these luxury brands, I just think it's very ironic here that they're pegged so heavily on one particular market. The future of these brands seems to no longer be like whether they're fashionable in European markets, whether the kids like it, whether rappers wear it. It seems to be China.
Well, so I never understand, and I'm no financial expert by any means, as you all probably guessed by now. So I can never understand why somebody would buy stocks and shares in luxury brands, right? Or in fashion in general. You know, fashion changes from season to season. It's subjective. Yeah, it's heavily reliant on marketing. You know, the not marketing as in, you know, what's on TV, but, you know, who famous is wearing your product and blah blah blah. And it's a big risk, right? And it's also a little bit strange because people buy these brands for exclusivity. Yeah. Right. And, you know, the look at me factor, you know, and I've got this, you know, I've just spent £30,000 on a Birka handbag or Hermes handbag or whatever it is, right? Yeah. They buy it for exclusivity. Yeah. Yeah. Then you've got things like people buying these products, the genuine ones, that are not really associated with luxury and class and elegance. Burberry went through a phase where, you know, all of the riffraff was wearing their stuff, and all of a sudden it was associated with the wrong people, etc., and that went down. But I think then blaming it on China is wrong. I don't agree with it. Yeah. I think there are still lots of people coming over to, what's that place in Oxfordshire? There's a big outlet thing there, and you go there and there's busloads. Something like that. I can't remember it. Where? There's
Bicester Village.
Yeah, Bicester Village. Yeah, that's the one. Right. There's busloads of Chinese people. There's actually tour operators arranging you to pick you up. I was in Hong Kong about a year ago, and they were all coming out of China and spending their money on brands and what have you. Excuse me. I think it's a mixture of, yes, the Chinese are maybe are not spending their money as much as also. I don't think it's the government. I mean, you look at some of the most expensive cars in the world now are actually Chinese manufactured cars. There's a Chinese limousine that's
pause on that for a second, right? they're blaming the government, but I found something very, very interesting. Yeah, so, and this is the thing about China, right? I'm no expert again, but I just find
exactly.
but I find it very, very interesting that U.S. press is saying that China's GDP is going down.
Yeah.
Right. So it's no longer a question of is Burberry. Actually, let me let you finish your thought. Sorry.
Yeah. So no, I was going to say that I don't think it's the government saying, "Oh, no more opulence" and blah blah blah. Right. I think it's genuinely that they're just not spending the money. Right. They're just not spending the money.
Exactly. So they're basically saying that according to China's National Bureau of Statistics, the GDP grew by 4.7%. Right.
Yeah.
Which is much weaker than the estimated growth of 5.1. Okay. In the first quarter. However, they're saying that home prices are falling.
Yep.
Which means demand is probably lower. And they definitely have a crisis with homes. I mean, we're talking like people don't trust the stock market, so they're buying a lot of homes instead of buying stock markets, because that's stocks. Sorry, that's the way they kind of solidify their future pensions and whatnot, right? But yeah, this article is saying that the GDP is falling. The expected GDP is falling. However, I found a direct Chinese kind of media company called the Ying Daily.
Oh yeah.
And they're saying Chinese tourists return a windfall for Italy's luxury market. You know, they're saying that 81% of Chinese shoppers are visiting Europe. Blah 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 blah. You know, basically Italy's recovered, has surpassed pre-pandemic levels, recovering 111% compared to June in 2019. There's
that bit there, the data on tax-free shopping. My God, that's a really good indicator.
Right, but the thing is, can we trust it? But can we trust it? Because we got LVMH saying that their profits are down. Right. In fairness, this is actually referring to Gucci. Kering, I think, holds more Italian brands, but but Kering's a private company, so I can't really even look at the stocks on that. But surely, if there was a massive surge of luxury appetite, well, it'd be reflecting on the stocks. So I just think, you know, is China in a bad state? I think it is.
I think no. Yeah, okay. And maybe again, I think no, and I think it's LVMH. I think
and Burberry.
Oh, and Burberry.
And Hugo Boss and all of those lot. Yeah.
Well, no, but we're not talking about Hugo Boss. Yeah, it's LVMH.
But Hugo Boss was also blaming the Chinese, just to let you know.
Oh, were they? Right. Okay. It'll be interesting to see what their sales figures are like in the US.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Because I think I mean look at Rolex. Right. Look at Patek Philippe. Look at those sort of people. Right. You can't get a Rolex for love nor money.
Really.
Right.
I thought it was.
You can't.
I thought there was an overproduction of Rolexes.
No, they're doing the Rolexes. They're cutting down how much is being released everywhere, and then they're keeping their prices artificially high. And what they're doing clever is they've got a lesser brand that everybody's going for as option two.
Right.
But I just think, again, I go back to fashion being subjective, fashion being changing, you know, fashion being trend. You know, is Louis Vuitton what the Chinese want now, or, you know, what people in general want now? Are they going at other brands? And don't get me wrong, some of the brands that you've got there, right, like Yves Saint Laurent and blah blah blah. Yves Saint Laurent are the bargain basement of brands. You know, you know, if I said to my wife, "I'm going to get you an Yves Saint Laurent bag," she'd go, "No, you're right."
Really?
Yeah.
It's no longer the status symbol anymore.
No, it's not. It's not the status symbol as it was. You know, there are certain brands that have kept their value up there because they've either reduced availability or they've marketed in the right way. But there the problem with brands like Louis Vuitton, Fendi, whatever, I can go down to Pitsy Market this Sunday, Mencey, right, and I can pick up really good quality Louis Vuitton, right, for 1/10 of the price, right? And I'm not saying people should go and buy fakes, but what I'm saying is because they're everywhere, do people who genuinely want to buy the genuine stuff, they want to buy it because, when they sit in the cab or sit in the coffee shop or they've got their bag next to them, people are going to go, oh, that's not real. Is that real? I don't know, So that's why you've got certain ones like Hermes, for example, 30, 40 grand, and you've got a waiting list, right? Where and they're the ones that maybe people are spending money on. I'm no fashionista. I'm just going by, I've got 2 daughters and a wife, and I'm just going by their experiences and their feedback and certain things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife's sister's just come back from Turkey with a Louis Vuitton bag that she's paid £40 on, and it's the nuts. You could not tell it was fake.
Wow.
Unless you're an expert.
Right.
But what I'm saying is those are everywhere, right? In the UK, from what I see. Imagine what they're like in China. Imagine what they're like in other places. And I'm thinking, are they stopping spending money, or are they putting their money into other brands, into other luxury goods? I don't know.
Right.
It's just food for thought.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just saw it as there's a trend here. These stocks are over levered on China. But you're right. On a different thought, they could just be throwing China under the bus for their crap performance. We all need an excuse. Right? And I mean, there was a time when literally, I think there's like 4 or 5 years ago, everyone's expansion plans relied on China. I mean, it was literally like Marvel, China, NBA, China. You had WWE, China. Everyone was just like, we've got to break into Chinese markets. This was before like China was enemy number one. I generally don't have any political standards with China, but I just think it could be the blame game. And right now everyone talks about AI. Being AI is the new China in stock reports, right? It's all about we're leveraging AI to take the company to the next level. I just wonder if in 5 years' time people will be talking about the lack of adoption of AI or the lack of thinking to blame for their crap performances in the future. There's always got to be a scapegoat. So but
also there's the thing where are people sick of it? Are people sick of going and spending £120 on a polo shirt? Are people going, that I don't know, what the polo logo is just everywhere now? Are people sick of it? Are they, the point of it is exclusivity, and exclusivity doesn't happen when you're everywhere.
Absolutely.
When you've got, even when you've got your own brand, and then you've got your outlets where they're half the price. Well, how can I tell if I've just spent 120 grand on a polo shirt, which I would never do in a million years, right? But then I bought the same shirt from the shop outlet for 30 quid, and there's no difference between the two.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's all marketing. I think you hit the nail on the head. And I think I'm gonna close this one with this video. You say you're no investor, you say you're no expert, but actually I think you just reminded me of a video that I saw a while back regarding why Warren Buffett doesn't buy. Well, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger didn't. Well, Charlie Munger's now deceased, and rest in peace. But why they've never looked into like brands such as Nike, Reebok, all this type of stuff. So I'm gonna play this video. You're not gonna hear it, but there is subtitles on it, so you're gonna have to do some aggressive reading on this one. But yeah, I'm gonna play this one. It's just a short. So can you see the screen, Andrew?
Yeah.
Cool. So let's go.
So you're really asking about the future prospects of Nike and Reebok? Yeah, I don't know that much about those businesses. We do have one person in this audience at least who owns a lot of Reebok, but I'm not expressing a negative view in any way on that. I don't understand their competitive position and the likelihood of permanence of their competitive position over a 10 or 20-year period, as well as I think I understand the position of Brown and Dexter. That is.
Sorry, that music is getting on my tits. But
No.
the point I'm trying to make is they don't, what they're trying to say is that they don't understand how it can stay that way, because it's all about marketing, it's all about brand, it's all about customer sentiment. You can't predict that. You can't predict that.
They're so weak.
Yeah.
They're so weak because it's not based on, I've got to have this product because it makes me run more comfortably or whatever. It's based on purely who famous is wearing this. We go back to that. We discussed it a little while ago. The Bud Light, and the Gillette, etc., etc. At least they had a basis, right?
Yeah.
Brands like Nike and whatever, it could be that somebody does something in a Nike and then bang, your brand is knackered.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the thing, right? Just to close the subject.
Sorry. I just have to make two things. And I don't know much about them. The rapper who had his own brand and he said something anti-Semitic, did he? I don't know what he said.
Kanye West.
Yeah. Brand is fucked. Right?
Deleted about $1 billion worth of revenue from a company.
Exactly. And what's the bottle of water? There was a drink that was like every kid was buying it and they were spending.
Prime.
Yeah.
Same scenario.
It's like 20p a bottle now in the bargain basket.
It used to be 20, 30, £100 a bottle, and now it's I mean, absolutely. But the issue with Nike right now is its stock's gone down 45% or 50% in the last quarter, and if you just bear me 1 second, Q2, it basically, look, Nike sings 12%. It's more than that, right? It's just 12% in 1 quarter. I mean, look at that drop, right? So I'm actually an investor in Nike.
Again, it's not because it's a commodity or a product. What it should be is a shoe. It's become a brand.
Yeah.
Imagine they sign a multi-million-pound deal with Arsenal, to do their shirts and training kits and whatever. I can't remember who Arsenal got now, but and then Arsenal get relegated. But there you go. That's down the drain.
Yeah.
Down the drain.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's not an item anymore, a commodity. It is a brand.
Yeah,
and that's the problem.
I'm trying to find the right article, but basically, the moral of the story is it dived because they over leveraged themselves on new products, but they failed to basically invest in the influencer economy during COVID.
Okay.
They stopped collaborating with the likes of JD Sports, all of the channels, because they thought they were too big and they could go direct to market, right? And basically they just became irrelevant in like 5 years, literally 5 years. That was it. They just, and I listened to the earnings call about 2 weeks ago or so, and they were just saying, look, we didn't do enough digital. We didn't, we missed out on the influencer economy.
Yeah.
The old model of like, oh, we'll get, what's his face? Golf guy.
Tiger.
We'll get Tiger Woods for golf. We'll get Serena Williams for tennis. We'll get, Jordan. Jordan's a different thing, but we'll get a Kobe to do the Nike thing.
Yeah.
People don't buy trainers that way anymore.
No.
It's all about, but and also they ended up creating these trainers, but then they created a shortage, and the normal people and influencers, they weren't able to combine their outfits with the trainers to make it look cool to the masses at a local level, and they ended up missing out on a massive opportunity. They went from being number one to now, like, I mean, they're still number one to some degree, but they've definitely lost a lot of market share to the likes of, I don't know if you've seen, Andrew, there's these tracksuits called Hood Rich, new brands like that. These kids are wearing Hood Rich tracksuits.
I've heard of them, yeah.
New Balance, Adidas, like the Gazelles are doing, like, been doing pretty well as well.
My days.
But they've been doing like campaigns with Stormzy, the rapper. They've been doing all sorts of influencing campaigns that in a different way to Nike. And the moral of the story is Nike's down. So just to close it, Nike stock We're talking a month.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, in a month, it's gone down 26%. A 6-month period, we're talking 29%.
9%,
And on a yearly, on a year, it's gone down 34%. On a 5-year period, well, actually, in fairness, not too bad, but yeah, it's about 12%. But the point is, this is meant to be a market-leading company, whereas you look at Adidas right now, and the 6-month outlook, look at that, 40% growth.
Yeah. So what Adidas have done really clever, and again, you know, I might be talking crap here, but they've done the Stormzy and they've done the influencer and they've done that. But what they've also done is appeal to the my generation. Yeah. You know, relive your youth with Adidas Gazelles. Yeah. You know, the green, the blue, the whatever, and you see people my age with Gazelles on.
Yeah, absolutely, and it makes sense.
The only reason I won't buy them because I thought they were uncomfortable. But I used to have like, all of the colours. Yeah. And then when I see them in the shop, I go, oh, I remember that. When I was like 16, 17, I used to have them, and they've done it really clever in that respect. So yeah, no, I get it, and again, it's, you know, investing in brands is risky. Yeah, it's risky.
Absolutely, and I think that's the key takeaway. You know. Investing or just business as a whole, like, try to stay away from what's hot, stick to value, stick to predictable business models, and you know, that's a life lesson in general, Andrew, right? We were talking about CVs and stuff like that, right? Don't go with a fad. I've seen people like leave cybersecurity roles to become AI evangelists. Like, they've literally, honestly, I've seen a couple, Andrew, like people that had a good reputation in cybersecurity completely scrap that and become AI guys, right? Just because it's the new fad. Yeah, maybe it's the right bet. Maybe it's the right bet, but if you let go of your value and you go for what's new and you're always on brand, yeah, that's got its positive sides on a short term. But then this happens, right? This type of stuff happens. Right, if you're over reliant on brand and what's hot, you can also come against the risk of the tail ends. Understand your brand, understand who you are, understand why your customers love you, right? And stick to that core audience. Like, keep that at your foundation. Yes, you can innovate, but if you're too much at the whims of brand and market swings and opinion, that can always work against you. And this is how a giant that's had a really, really good standing in the market for decades has now, you know, lost 45% of share price in the last couple of years.
So I live my life in a very strange way, right? For example, mobile phones. Right. I will never buy the latest release of mobile phones because in my mind they're still fixing bugs, and they're using me as the guinea pig to report and fix those bugs. Right. So I'll always go a year behind, or whatever, right? Because I know it's been tried and tested. So again, it's about tried and tested. If sometimes you can jump on a bandwagon and it can work out really well for you, right? But then there are people like, you know, Warren Buffett and those people that have got their tried and tested in sectors, in industries, in whatever, that they've over the years have you know, withstood COVID, they've withstood, you know, crashes, and they've withstood, you know, regional wars and whatever you, and they're still plugging away.
Yeah, absolutely, and that applies to the way we sell as well. We get product managers. Oh yeah, we've just invented this. Tell your customers about it. This is what's going to get you the deal. It's always the same core problem. It's the basics. It's the basic issues that customers have been dealing with for a long time that win you the business. Be great at the core problems. The rest of the stuff, the bells and whistles, yeah, they can sometimes nuances that can give you the edge, but stick to the core problem that you're addressing. Like, and I think that's really the key takeaway here. I think you could be right about the luxury market. You know, ultimately, it's all about brand. It's all about them creating items that make people feel kind of above the rest. And that shouldn't necessarily matter. It shouldn't matter that one market is doing well for them or not doing well for them, like China. I think there's other stuff broken underneath the hood.
I mean, you're telling me these brands, haven't got markets in the UK, in US, in Europe, you know, And you know, another big thing about it, right? And they don't mention this is Russia's got a lot to do with it. Yeah. All of the people that are spending fortunes, all the rich Russians that used to come over to Europe and spend fortunes, they're not there. Do you know where they are now? They're in Turkey, spending fortunes in Turkey, in Istanbul. They've bought half of Istanbul, a lot of them. Yeah, so, you know, that could be an influence. But I genuinely think a lot of it is down to, you know, this brand is no longer exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. There's something definitely broken with the core brand. And it's up to them to fix it. But yeah, man, I've really enjoyed this one. I know it's been super random for the audience, but this is the theme. This is the theme. We just talk about stuff that doesn't necessarily get that much attention in the market. It might be useful, it might not, but you know, we'll always try to explore stuff that might be.
Well, I've got to go now and explain to my wife why I haven't made dinner.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell her that I'm doing a podcast with Mencey, and she's going to be saying, "How old are you? Aren't you too old for a podcast?" But you know,
well, it's called the OLDHOMBRE podcast, so yeah, we'll go to. All right, well, let's play the closing music. It's going to be
let's play the closing music. This is the best bit. This is my favourite bit.
Oh, I'm dying. Oh, my mate made this. Just for those of you thinking, where did you get this from? Anyway, bye everyone. Thank you for listening.
Good night.
We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.